pro wrestling is an ever-evolving industry, with encyclopedias being updated, documentaries being released, and relationships mended or destroyed. The attitudes and narratives of wrestling superstars begin to change. Individuals like the Ultimate Warrior, Bruno Sammartino, and others are brought back into prominence, while the history of some of the other bright characters are being washed away or changed. Some are pigeonholed and being remembered for that one event or that one specific moment in time. Others become as insignificant as a crossword answer. My job as PWP's resident historian is to remind you of the impact that these individuals and teams left on the industry. This is PW Profiles. Legendary WWF champion Bob Backlund wrote in his autobiography that this man had a great head for the game, a wonderful sense of ring psychology, and an uncanny ability to use his intelligence and cockiness to get under the people's skins. He was a terrific representative of the AWA and was the key player in the success of the AWA for a long time. He was intelligent, well-spoken, and a cocky heel, and his in-ring skills were up there with the very best in the business. Bob Backlund was talking about none other than Nick Bockwinkel. Are you familiar with the name of Nick Bockwinkel?
I've heard it before. I think any wrestling fan would know the name of Nick Bockwinkel, but I bet most of them probably don't know his entire history, or even what he's actually really known for. So I feel like that's kind of why we started this. So Logan, who is Nick Bockwinkel for the people who don't know who he is?
Nick Bockwinkel debuted in 1954 and had a lengthy career of 34 consecutive years. Although he started out as a white meat babyface, it wasn't until 1969, where in Georgia Championship Wrestling, he debuted his cocky heel persona. And I know that doesn't sound like much, but this is the same cocky heel persona that influenced Chris Jericho's heel persona when he came out in the suits and he used the big words. This cocky heel persona influenced the Four Horsemen and any other group or individual that proved they were better than you. He always dressed the part, he looked like a champion, and he was known to use 4, 5, 6 syllable words that, let's be honest, a lot of the wrestling fans in a lot of the bigger territories like Texas, Georgia, they might not know him. They might not understand him. Nick Bockwinkel had a large feud in the AWA with Vern Gagne. That's where he spent the majority of his career, and it was well worth it. Between his feud with Gagne as well as his teaming with Ray Stevens and eventually Bobby Heenan, Nick Bockwinkel dominated both the heavyweight and the tag division. He was a 4-time heavyweight champion, and he was a 3-time tag team champion with Ray Stevens. They were one of the more dominant heel tag teams in the AWA. He also was one of the larger men backstage for the AWA. He helped to train, he helped to book. As I said, he feuded with Vern Gagne. But if you went through the AWA, you at one point had a match with Nick Bockwinkel. For current fans, the comparison for him would be like a Sting for how long he was in WCW and he never really left. Found the AWA, it was home for him. He and Ray Stevens were two of the first quote-unquote Heenan family members, and they were actually in the ring the night that Bobby Heenan coined himself the Brain.
Really?
Bockwinkel and Stevens were a tremendous tag team, and to Bockwinkel's credit, he discusses how Bobby Heenan could replace Ray Stevens, Bobby Heenan could replace Nick Bockwinkel, but neither of them could do what Bobby Heenan could do in and out of the ring. Throughout the AWA, as I said, he was the cocky, arrogant heel, but at times he played the babyface. Wasn't as memorable, but still with the influence that he had in the AWA, it was just, he had an amazing career. He capped it off twice, once in a Legends Battle Royal in the WWF, which ended up being won by Lou Thez, and secondly in WCW, where he fought Dory Funk Jr. at Slamboree 93, a Legends reunion. Fitting that two of his last matches, his more memorable final matches, were Legends matches. As I said, Bob Backlund talked wonders about him. Chris Jericho credits him for being a master orator. But then Hall of Fame's recognized Nick Bockwinkel as well. He got inducted into the same Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame as Vern Gagne. He went into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2007, which, Anthony, that is the same year of our WrestleMania.
It is.
So he was one of the men that stood on the stage. For those of you that don't know, it was actually an AWA Hall of Fame if you think about it, with Kurt Hennig, Jerry Lawler, Nick Bockwinkel. Then he was also inducted into the NWA Hall of Fame in 2016. Pro Wrestling Illustrated awarded him with a Lifetime Achievement Award. And the best Hall of Fame fact about Bockwinkel is he was inducted in the inaugural class of the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame. So he is such a recognized individual that Dave Meltzer selected him to be one of the first inductees. Nick Bockwinkel was world-renowned for not only his wrestling, but being able to be a heel without yelling and screaming, just being intellectually superior to his opponent. He is in my top 10 professional wrestlers of all time, and even though I feel this and some other wrestling fans recognize him, again, he is kind of left to the wayside for the Hulk Hogans, the Dusty Rhodes, the Ric Flairs. Could this be because he spent the majority of his time in AWA? Had Bockwinkel left and went to the NWA or the WWF, would he have been as big a star? I think yes. I mean, just the influence that he has today. Imagine if he would have had a broader scope, a larger landscape to portray this on. Nick Bockwinkel will forever be a favorite. And Nick Bockwinkel is number 2 in our PW profiles.